Hi and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 221. Tesla starts a volume production of their Dojo Chip. And we saw some big news this week in the humanoid robot race. And we are seeing the competition is actually heating up in Europe. And Elon was on a surprise visit to China to make a deal on supervised full self-driving. And the Cybertruck got a huge over-the-air update, embarrassing the old guys that still really can't do this. But Xiaomi also embarrassed the old legacy automakers with a surprisingly good production ramp of their new electric vehicle. And we got some good news keeping the hope alive for the Cybertruck coming to Europe. And we saw the most insane example of Tesla safety this week. And a whole new market has just opened up for Tesla to sell even more EV credits. All of this and much more in today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
Tesla starts volume production of their Dojo Chip. Tesla shows off they are much more than just a car company, as Tesla's next generation Dojo AI training tile is now in production, according to supplier Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company Limited, TSMC. Tesla has been heavily invested in AI training compute power both through buying NVIDIA hardware and building its own under its Dojo program. The first generation of its Dojo supercomputer platform went into operation last summer, shortly after it was reported that Tesla has expanded its partnership with TSMC, one of the largest semiconductor companies that is manufacturing Tesla's Dojo chip. This is of course a chip that is designed by Tesla specifically to be doing AI training through video data to help teach its 6 million cars to drive. Tesla is building a new 100 megawatt data center to train its full self-driving AI at Giga, Texas. But Electric were told that this system is going to use NVIDIA hardware, probably because Dojo Chip has just started real volume production. But this is all really a good showcase of what Tesla is doing to solve real-world AI to drive their cars that no other car company on the planet is doing. Not even close. As Kathy Wood from Ark Invest is also saying, Tesla has the biggest AI project in the world at the moment with their full self-driving AI software. And Tesla is spending billions of dollars on this. Actually, Elon wrote on X this week that Tesla will spend $10 billion this year in combined training and inference AI, the latter being primarily in cars. Any company not spending at this level and doing so efficiently cannot compete. Yes, exactly. And no one else is doing this. So there really is no competition for Tesla in this space. As Ark Invest is also saying, it is a winner takes most market. And so far, Tesla is the only horse in this race. And we of course have to talk a little bit about humanoid robots, as they are quickly becoming a thing. And we had some big news from Sanctuary this week. Herbert from Brighter with Herbert did a great interview with Gordy, the CEO of Sanctuary, about the whole humanoid robot race, as Sanctuary AI announced a collaboration with no other than Microsoft to accelerate AI development for general purpose robots. This new partnership is just another in a series of industry-defining announcements, including key partnership with Accenture and large auto supplier manufacturer Magna, who will both be using the bot and making the bots. So it really seems like Sanctuary has all the pieces together now, from the robotics, AI and manufacturing. But he also thinks their only real competitor is, you guessed it, Tesla. So one of the leading companies in humanoid robots think Tesla is their biggest competitor. Someone should probably tell Ross Gerber this, so he can start to understand that Tesla is an AI and robotics company. But let's hear it from the expert himself, from Herbert's interview, that I can highly recommend you watch the whole thing, as he also got Dr. Know-It-All and Scott Walter on, so this was really a well-done interview, as always, with a lot of great stuff. But here is what the robot expert had to say about Tesla and Elon Musk.
Well, one thing I would say about the Optimus and Elon stuff is that for us, the faster that they can make this real, the better it is for us. So of the, there's, I think sometimes people take the perspective that, oh no, Elon's going to do something cool and the horror of horrors. No. I mean, if you think about why humanoids are a thing now, it's him. Yeah. Let's be honest. We were talking about it way before him, but nobody was really listening because, we're not Elon Musk. But as soon as he started talking about it, it got the megaphone and everybody's listening now. And people trust his vision for good reason. I mean, look at SpaceX and Tesla and others, even OpenAI, he's been right about a lot of things, not everything, but I think directionally he's been correct about everything. And he's right about this for all of the right reasons. When I'm asked who are the real competitors here, I don't really think there are any other than Tesla and Elon. Like all of the other companies that are doing this don't get it. And that's a problem because, they're building the wrong kinds of things for the wrong kinds of reasons, for the wrong kinds of customers. But he's not. He gets it. He understands the fact that this is going to be the biggest industry in the world. He understands that it's just a technological problem to do it. He understands the AI challenges from his time building, self-driving stuff at Tesla, and also now his entree into this X.AI large language model business, which, by the way, that's going to be a beast. He's going to do a good job at that also. So Tesla is, de facto number one in building embodied general intelligence, in my view, even though they started after us and to a certain extent have copied what we've done. Okay, fine. So how do I feel about it? I feel pretty good about the fact that he's doing it, and I also think that the better he does, the better it will be for us. So
yes, the analyst of Wall Street might not get it just yet, but the experts in the field and the competitors to Tesla's robots are also saying Tesla is one of the leaders in AI and robotics. So maybe they should start to listen to them and look up from their automotive spreadsheet that Tesla does not fit in and learn what Tesla really is. A technology company, an AI and robotics company. And yes, one of the robots they are making is a car, but that does not make them into a car company only. If that is what is in your spreadsheet, you are going to be sadly mistaken about Tesla's future potential. And we are seeing the competition is actually heating up in Europe. If you remember, I showed a list of the best-selling models of EVs in Europe a month or so ago, and we saw that the Volvo EX30 was not even in the top 20 yet, but the older, bigger version, the Volvo XC40 was, but I said I expected the EX30 to get to third place in Europe in 2024. Well, it has already jumped to that spot right now. And that is also just a very nice and capable EV for a very good price. So good to see this one taking off and challenging the likes of the Tesla Model 3. I think Volvo's EX30 is definitely a true competitor to Tesla's Model 3. And that car is also coming to the US and with a price of about $35,000. Volvo's compact SUV here will hit a sweet spot in the US market as well. The competitive price reflects an unusual combination of Geely's China-specific cost advantage and Volvo's ability to skirt US tariffs on Chinese cars because it also has a US manufacturer operation, according to an interview with 4 sources familiar with Volvo and Geely's strategy and several US trade policy experts, according to Reuters. But here in Europe, the Model Y is of course still number one by a huge margin. But one that wants to challenge Tesla here in Europe is actually Xpeng. We are still waiting for BYD to really get some momentum. The Auto 3 is still their best-selling model, but it's not even in the top 30 yet here in Europe. So while we are waiting for higher sales from BYD in Europe, Xpeng is now launching their Model Y copy. Yes, Xpeng is, of course, known for copying everything Tesla does, including admitting in a lawsuit that they did steal some of Tesla's full self-driving software. And when you see their user interface, you can clearly see that is basically just a copy of Tesla software and the way it looks. But now they're coming out with the G6 that also looks very similar to the Model Y, but does have some extra features that the Tesla Model Y doesn't have, but is also missing a few things. But all in all, a really great EV, and the price it launches with here in Europe is very competitive. It is actually about the equivalent of $6,000 cheaper than the Tesla Model Y if we compare the two performance models. The G6 has a bit more range, but it does that by putting a bit more batteries inside. It can charge with 280 kilowatts, so charging is very similar. And about the interior, I think most people will think that it's a bit more luxurious in the G6 compared to the Model Y, but even though Xpeng has copied Tesla's gigacasting, we can see that they are still not as efficient at building the car itself, as you will only get about 570 liters of cargo space in the trunk, where the Model Y gives you 700, as the Xpeng does not have a big sub-trunk as the Tesla does, and the Xpeng does not even have a frunk at all. So that is about 125 liters less cargo space there as well. But overall, the G6 seems like a very capable EV that can actually take up the fight against the Tesla Model Y, the best-selling car in the world. And for a cheaper price, this is a real good bargain for the G6, and it will come to Europe after the summer. So going to be very interesting to see if it will also be able to compete with Tesla when it comes to sales numbers, because the car itself definitely don't lag in performance and features. So let's see how this Chinese version of the Model Y will be received in Europe. If we look at the price and specs, it should do very, very well, but that is of course not always the case. But I will definitely keep an eye on this one. And we saw Elon Musk take a surprise visit to China to make a deal to get supervised full self-driving to the country, which is a huge deal. I did make a whole video about this, so if you want to dive in deeper, check that one out. But this also really just shows us how important Elon Musk is for Tesla, as every leader in the world really wants to meet him and speak with him. But then we have haters like Leonard Lopez that once again shows us she has no idea about Tesla, as her track record also shows us. Not many has been as wrong about Tesla in the past as Lopez. But she is out with more stupidity in a new article with the headline, "To save Tesla, Elon's got to go." But I have to agree with Holmars here instead. To save journalism, Leonard Lopez got to go. Because this is just nonsense. Elon Musk just met with Chinese premier and is getting supervised full self-driving to China. This is a huge deal. As we all know, this is the biggest car market in the world. So finally, being able to get supervised full self-driving to the country will not only bring in a lot of data for Tesla, but potentially also a lot of profits, and give the car an extra edge in high-tech technology that the Chinese really like. So Tesla and Elon Musk have now cleared the last roadblocks in China by partnering up with Baidu on mapping and navigation features. Tesla turned to Baidu for in-vehicle mapping and navigation service in China in 2020. They are kind of the Chinese version of the Google Maps, and the new level of partnerships aim to address mapping concerns for more advanced self-driving features. And on top of that, in a statement, the Chinese Association of Automobile Manufacturers said that the Tesla Model 3 and Model Y produced at Tesla's Shanghai factory passed date security requirements. This means that Tesla's Giga Shanghai models has passed China's nation standard and requirements for vehicle data security, which facilitates the full lifting of restrictions on the access of parking of Tesla vehicles in some areas such as government campus, airports and highways. So everything is set up for Tesla to take on China with full self-driving. And at the same time, we saw Richard Fredriksson, a senior advisor for Swedish Transportation Administration, that was at the NCAP conference in Munich, where they tried out full self-driving version 12, and as he wrote, "We drove from downtown Munich to the airport in 45 minutes. During the entire drive, the driver only had to intervene once when full self-driving hesitated to let another car merge into the lane." So we are seeing that yes, of course, Tesla's full self-driving version 12 can also drive in Europe, as Tesla has generated a general solution, not one that only works in one part of the world in a little geofenced area. And Holmer's catalog also said in a video that before version 12, a new update meant a few new improvements, but nothing huge change in the way it drove. But with version 12, he's saying that every update it drives differently, more human-like every time. And the update of the version 12 is coming now pretty much every week. So the improvements are not just becoming more frequent now, the improvements are also bigger, and it is driving more and more human-like with every single update. And one that also got his mind blown was John Gibbs, aka Dr. Know-It-All, and he is also used to driving the full self-driving, but once again we saw a great example of Tesla's full self-driving version 12 that is thinking, as it did, ignore the navigation as we have seen before, as it saw a better way and ignored the navigation altogether. This is exactly what I have been talking about, the system being intelligent enough to handle any edge cases, even though it has never experienced the situation before. So let's see John actually get a little speechless, which does not happen often.
It needs to make a left here. This is entirely a navigation information issue. What's it gonna do? What's it gonna do? What's it gonna do? It's gonna freak out that dude behind us. Okay, this is really interesting. Okay, this is version 12 of the software, and check this out. It sees a left turn lane. Now it did wiggle, it did wobble around a lot, but the navigation is telling it to go right and make a U-turn and come back, which is patently ridiculous. So I really want to see if it's going to manage this left-hand turn out of here. I've never tried this before. I've always just disengaged and filed a complaint about the navigation information. It used to be that the turn was over there on the other side of this, like it was just like 50 yards, not even, it's just a tiny amount. So let's see what it does. Let's see if it will make this left-hand turn. Wow, this would be amazing. Okay, holy crap. Okay, that is mind-blowing. That is absolutely mind-blowing. That is just, I'm kind of speechless. I mean, Tesla, holy, whoa. What it did was it ignored the navigation, right? So if you think about a robot does what it's told to do. This thing was just told to make a right-hand turn. It just looked at the scenario, said there's a right-hand lane and a left-hand turn lane, and I can go left here. And it ignored the navigation and made the correct call.
And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this news show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla Shorts. IF Metal backs out of Tesla strikes in Sweden. Some of it anyway. IF Metal has announced that the Tesla-approved repair shop that have been taken out in a sympathy strike will once again be allowed to start repairing Tesla cars. According to Niklas, that has been following this very closely, this is nothing other than a recognition from IF Metal that what they did was wrong. But just so everyone knows, the strike is still on. IF Metal has just backed down on one of the 15 measures they have against Tesla. But just the day after IF Metal dropped this one measure, a new sympathy measured against Tesla. Now Swedish largest trade union, the White Collar Union, is entering the Tesla conflict. In sympathy with IF Metal strike, the union announced a blockade of all work that the company Dekra Industrial does for Tesla. It is about expecting equipment for the workshops, and apparently a good measure that will help increase the pressure on Tesla, says Martin Westfeld, head of negotiation at the union. Tesla is trying to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy, but the union only cares about their money and power. But we also start to see now, after the new strike against Tesla, this Swedish man Ludwig wrote on X to the union, "Thank you for this time, now I'm leaving you. You should have stayed out of this abuse of power." Exactly. And if you don't get enough attention with your Cybertrucks as it is, well, here is a wrap that will spice things up. Or this one, in this glossy green-black thing. Yes, Cybertruck is a blank canvas and seems like people is having fun with it. And speaking of Cybertruck, Top Gear had the Cybertruck out for another spin with the new off-road package that every Cybertruck owner got for free with an over-the-air update. And the Top Gear host was very impressed with the Cybertruck's off-road performance, and as they concluded, is the Cybertruck a capable off-road vehicle? Yes. So to all the people that said this was just for the Silicon Valley people, well, you were clearly wrong. And we did see the long list of things that this update brought. Not just a simple update, but Tesla also fixed other issues like the front not recognizing if something got stuck. So a lot of good new features making this beast even better. And as Martin Vicker also wrote on X, regular software update for the world. How is this not an industry standard? 12 years since Model S launched. Yes, the old legacy automakers thought they should just make an electric car, failing to understand that Tesla made a software-defined vehicle, which is a very different thing. And now they're just too far behind to ever catch up in time. And we also got a new look inside the Cybertruck production line, as Tesla gave Japanese news team NHK's World exclusive access to the Cybertruck production line. We didn't really get anything new, but it was just nice to see some more videos from inside this factory, seeing all of these Cybertrucks being produced. And even though the guys from Top Gear said the Cybertruck would never come to Europe, but I still think Tesla is doing all they can to get this one to Europe as well. As we also heard from Brian White after the Cybertruck event, that Tesla had been working on getting the Cybertruck to Europe for 10 months, as employees at Tesla told Brian. So I think they are definitely doing everything they can to get it over here. And this week we might have got some more breadcrumbs that Tesla still wants to get this truck here to Europe. Not just that Tesla made a whole tour around Europe this summer showing off the Cybertruck, but we also saw Patrick share this information that Tesla is sending emails to customers in Europe implying that the Cybertruck will be officially released in Europe. As they wrote, "We are excited that you signed up for the Cybertruck Odyssey happening from June 26th to June 29th in Weinstadt. It's your chance to see our new Tesla Cybertruck before it's officially released." Yes, please. And Martin also shared this post from Sawyer and wrote, "All recalls are not created equal. Time to rename software recalls to something like required software update." Could not agree more. If we look at Tesla's recall, they have had 2.1 million recalls, but only 1% of those are actually recalls. The rest, the 99%, is just an over-the-air update. So to still in 2024 to call them all just recall is just far from what is actually going on. And Tesla shared that we can now explore the Tesla home experience before installing solar and power walls, also for us here in Europe. So I hope this means that we will be getting closer to get power walls coming to more places in Europe. And also just a good showcase of how huge and amazing Tesla's app really is. We have seen so many others like Volkswagen struggling with their app that hardly work, and then we have Tesla, where it's not just an app to control your car. You have access to home energy, the store, service, and so much more. And Tesla is launching a new feature for their wall connector here in Denmark today, so I'm guessing in many other countries here in Europe as well, with dynamic power management. With dynamic power management, wall connector power can be automatically adjusted based on existing home loads, allowing any electric vehicle to charge faster when home appliances are not in use. This new feature will ensure the best charging experience for both Tesla and non-Tesla vehicles, adjusted on the power available in real time. Nice. And Reuters keep digging their hole of bad journalism even bigger with this article, saying Tesla is retreating from using a single gigacasting. Tesla has never said anything about this. It has only been speculation because we have seen patents for a car casted in one single piece. So to say Tesla has retreated is simply just a lie. But hey, they are even getting the basics wrong in this article, as they are saying Tesla is using 3 gigacasting, front, middle and rear. The middle is not a giga casting. Tesla only has a front and rear giga casting, so hard to take them serious when they get even the simple things wrong. And we also saw some impressive numbers from Xiaomi, the phone company that has launched its electric car. And in just 32 days after the launch of the Xiaomi SU7, which looks like a straight up copy of the Porsche Taycan, their EV factory has achieved a 10,000 production milestone. So that is some very impressive production ramp of a phone company that suddenly is producing a car. This must really be very embarrassing for GM to see a phone company being better at ramping up an electric vehicle than they are. But also kind of a slap in the face of Apple that spent $10 billion and 10 years working on their electric vehicle, and they just gave up and it all will never come to market. But yet another newcomer we should keep an eye on and see how their sales will go, because just in April they sold 7,058 SU7s, so they are really coming out swinging. And we also saw this crazy video this week of a car making 7 rolls and looked like a scene straight out of Fast and the Furious. And that all the people in the car walked away from this crash also seems like something that would only happen in a movie, but because this was actually a Tesla Model Y, everyone in the car survived this huge crash. Yes, Tesla just makes the safest cars in the world. And I think many are actually now starting to see that EV credits are not going away anytime soon for Tesla's financials. And now we got even a whole new market for emission credits opening up, as the South Korean Ministry of Environment has granted Tesla permission to trade its carbon credit in the country for the first time. So that's a nice little boost for their margin without doing anything really other than getting money from their competition. And China is not done with the EV incentive, as China offers incentive to boost old car replacement. Analysts expect up to 2 million additional sales because of this. They will offer a subsidy of up to 10,000 RMBs if you trade in your old car. And if you think that solid-state battery will be a real thing this decade, I think the biggest battery manufacturer in the world might disagree with you. CATL aims to produce all solid-state battery in small batches in 2027, but high-volume production will face challenges, including cost, an executive said. Exactly, this is what I've been saying for years. We might get a real solid-state battery in production this decade, but they will be way too expensive to become a part of a high-volume car anytime soon. But next decade, they might become a thing if they can get the prices down and the production volume up. And Ford is still seeing trouble with their F-150 Lightning in Australia, as the F-150 shipment halted in Australia yet again, while Ford Australia investigate an unnamed potential issue. After 3 recalls in 2 months, the official right-hand drive Ford F-150 pickup has hit yet another speed bump in Australia. Yes, these EVs are not as easy as Tesla and the Chinese makes it look like. And before we end off with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout out to my newest supporters of this channel: Anthony Lesego, Mickey Filippucci, and James Dillon. Thank you so much for all your support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys are all the producers of this news show. Thank you. And let's end off with a bit of fun. Unfortunately, this is still something people think about electric cars.
Veteran Cybertruck owner Joe here, and they'll tell you that you can't wash your electric vehicle. False. You'll encounter no dangers.
That is all we have time for in this news show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot so others can find it on YouTube. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. And if you're already a subscriber to the channel, thank you so much for the support. But if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel, or become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out as some extra perks like early access, ad-free versions of my videos, exclusive videos. So hit the members button or check out Patreon to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on X. I post pretty much all the news as it comes out and a lot more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. It is also possible to support the show without becoming a member or a patron. There is a donation option down below or on my website bestintesla.com. You can also become an executive producer and get news articles, exclusive videos, behind the scenes, and access to all my research charts and spreadsheet also on bestintesla.com, or as simple as hitting the super like button. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.